Hey, did you guys know the new Batman movie came out? Because the new Batman movie came out. Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to the show, and welcome back to another one of these lazy webcam videos so that I can get a movie vlog out really fast, and I barely have to do any editing for it. So, someone just texted me. Today we're going to be talking about the Batman. Now, the Batman has a very fascinating history, as in it was originally supposed to be Ben Affleck's solo movie as Batman, but then, you know, Justice League screwed everything up. Originally, Affleck was supposed to direct it, but then they replaced him with Matt Reeves, and then ultimately, because of Justice League, Affleck just left the project in general, and they ended up recasting Batman, and Matt Reeves wrote a completely new script, and now we have the movie we're reviewing today. This movie takes a lot of inspiration from movies such as Seven to Zodiac, but I feel like the one movie that people will make comparisons to with this movie is The Dark Knight, because, well, these films are awfully similar, and they're both Batman movies. Totally, they feel a lot similar. The only thing is that I think that this movie is much more comfortable being a comic book movie than The Dark Knight was, because Christopher Nolan was really going for realism, even though The Dark Knight still had a bit of that comic book side to it, like, oh, Batman and Rachel jumped out of a building and crashed into a car and they're both completely fine. Like, comic book movie, you can let that slide. When it comes to comic book accuracy, I think this is the most comic accurate Batman movie we've ever had. Behind the Lego Batman movie. I think I'm joking, but have you seen the Lego Batman movie recently? It's really freaking good. And it's kind of sad that this Lego tie-in is the best Batman movie of the 2010s. But anyway, back to the Batman. So this is Batman's second year as a vigilante, and he's investigating this new set of murders of the highest people ranked in Gotham City. And it's all done by this mysterious murderer known as the Riddler. One thing that this movie digs into that I don't think any other Batman movie has really done is that it really plays into the detective side of the world's greatest detective. Where all the other Batman movies have focused on him being a vigilante or a superhero or a really good fighter or kind of a ninja, this one really plays into the detective aspect, because this is a detective movie first. Like, this is a really good detective movie on what the freak is going on. One thing that I find very interesting is that we don't really get a lot of Bruce Wayne in this movie. I mean, he's Batman for the grand majority of the film. I think Bruce Wayne is unmasked and in the public for like two, maybe three scenes in this 3-hour movie. One scene an hour, baby. That's what Bruce Wayne gets. But you know what? I think it works for the movie. This is called The Batman for a reason. You came here to see Batman, and you know what? Robert Pattinson is really good as Batman. And you know what? Story-wise, it makes sense that he'll be dressed up as Batman, because this is a detective movie, and Batman really needs to be here right now. Going back to Robert Pattinson, he is an amazing Batman. I don't want to hear anymore, oh, Robert Pattinson, Edward, Twilight, you can't be Batman. No, the movie is out now. We've seen his performance. It is amazing. So shut up. My chin hit the mic. Not just Pattinson. All of the actors are great. Paul Dano as the Riddler, he's freaking terrifying. Like the Riddler, I could see would scare the crap out of some little kids watching this movie because it is PG-13. Definitely not made with younger children in mind. Definitely made for a more grown-up audience as opposed to like some of the other Batman movies or say the Marvel movies. But it's still a PG-13 superhero movie. Parents will take their kids to see this, and I can imagine those kids crapping their pants with this version of the Riddler. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Jim Carrey and Batman Forever, and even a little bit of the 60s Riddler, but this Riddler, he ain't playing around, dude. He's great. Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, Catwoman. She's great. It's very, very hard to top Michelle Pfeiffer's amazing performance in Batman Returns. But she's up there. She's up there with the top 3 Catwomen. Like, she's really good in this movie. At first, I wasn't really on board with the idea that her cat mask is just a ski mask cut into the shape of a cat, but, this is Catwoman's origin story, pretty much, so it makes sense that she wouldn't have, like, the perfect cat mask or something like that. I personally think they should have at least given her some cat ears, because this is Catwoman, but, for what we got, she's really great. And her performance is really great. And I like the fact that they made her bisexual like in the comics recently. That's pretty awesome. Colin Farrell as the Penguin was a lot of fun. Definitely play more into the gangster mobster type side of the Penguin as opposed to the monster side that was made famous by Batman Returns. And the makeup that they did on him was fantastic. Like, he is visually unrecognizable. That is amazing. And he's managed to work with it so well. And it's honestly impressive. Like, holy crap. Like, great performance, by the way. We have not yet Commissioner Gordon, who I don't know the name of his actor, but you know what? He did a really good job. Commissioner Gordon is like the only person in the Gotham City Police Department who actually trusts Batman. Because that's one thing that I like about this movie that a lot of the movies haven't really talked upon yet, on how in the early stages of his time as Batman, Batman is a freaking vigilante. Like, he's going rogue against the police department, and basically the cops are pretty much like, yo, this guy's a vigilante, what is he doing here? And it makes sense that they wouldn't really be, okay with that, because who's this guy dressed up as a bat, punching around people, scaring the crap out of them? That's another thing I really want to talk about with this movie. Batman being a vigilante. So, Batman never really gives his iconic phrase, "I'm Batman." He instead says, "I'm vengeance," which is part of the famous phrase, "I am vengeance, I am the night, I'm Batman." But, baby steps, baby steps. So he keeps on saying that he's vengeance to all these criminals, scare the crap out of them, beat them up, they run away. And then, at the end of the movie, where he's beating up one of the Riddler's goons who's about to flood Gotham, so basically, he beats him up, he's unmasked, and Gordon's like, "Who are you?" And then the goon says, "I'm vengeance." This whole thing changes everything for Bruce. He wanted to use Batman as a way to strike fear into the hearts of his enemies. so that they would be stopped doing crime in fear that the Batman would catch them. 2 years into this, Batman's figured out that he's having the wrong effect on some people. Because these goons and the Riddler are essentially doing what Batman's doing, but for evil. And at the beginning of the movie, where Batman saves someone from a bunch of goons, the person that he is saving is going, "Please don't hurt me." And it's at the end of the movie, Batman realizes that these civilians that he's trying to save, they're scared of him. So he decides to change his ways from being a symbol of fear to a symbol of hope for Gotham. And there's this beautiful scene towards the end of the movie where Batman is carrying this person in his arms. He lifts him up to the hospital bed in a helicopter, and the person just can't let themselves let go of Batman's hand, and it's just so beautiful, man. So beautiful. I love the relationship between Batman and Catwoman. The romantic stuff is kind of there. It's there. They do kiss a couple times in the movie, but they realize that they can't be together for the greater good. You know what? The two of them do have really good chemistry. I want to see a Batman movie or Batman show or even a Batman comic where Batman and Catwoman are happy together. They almost got married in the comics very, very recently, but then Catwoman left Batman at the altar. Because comic books always having to revert back to the status quo. Like, imagine if Reed Richards and Susan Storm got married, and then 3 issues later, it was retconned into never happening. Just imagine that. Wouldn't that be so stupid? So horrible for the fans that have been waiting for this moment? That's how it's pretty much with the whole Batwoman-Catwoman wedding scenario. This event to their wedding has been built up so much throughout the comics, and then it just doesn't happen. That's just really, really, really dumb. Because the comics, they always gotta resort back to the status quo. So, something that I would really like to see would be a piece of Batman media, preferably in the comics, or it could be in a movie or TV show, I don't care. Just let Batman and Catwoman be happy together. I know what you're about to say, Batman can't really have someone to be happy with. He's a dark, isolated loner. What about the Bat family? The Bat family. The 20 different Robins he has. Batgirl, Batwoman, Alfred, Huntress, Batwoman, Cassandra Cain, freaking Batmite. Is it that much to have Batman get a wife? Be happy with Selena Kyle? Is it that much? That was a bit of a tangent. Okay, back to the movie. One of the things I really enjoy about this is that it talks about the Waynes. And the thing about the Waynes in the other Batman movies is that they're kind of shown as goody two-shoes, perfect people, really. What's happened to them was horrible, but they left a really good legacy. This movie, on their hand, shown that the Waynes were hiding some secrets. They weren't awful people, but they weren't perfect, like we were led to believe, which fits perfectly with the theme of the movie. So Batman has sort of a moral dilemma. The whole reason Batman exists is because his parents got killed and he's trying to avenge their murders. There's this moment in the movie where Batman is just holy crap, Alfred. What I've been fighting for all these years was a lie. And that's another thing I forgot to mention during the acting part. Andy Serkis as Alfred is a really good Alfred. I really enjoyed it as Alfred. Can't wait to see more of him. I wish he was in the movie a little bit more. Let's talk about the ending of the movie. Well, not the literal final scene, but one of the final scenes, which feels like it would have been a post-credits scene, but they just slopped it towards the end of the movie. But alright, let's talk about the tease in Arkham. So, the Riddler is in his cell in Arkham, and he's talking to this other person. This other person who seems to be having a history with Batman. But it is very obvious that this is supposed to be the Joker. Now, before they made it blatantly obvious that this was the Joker, they kind of shot his face in a way that half of it looked a little messed up. So, there was probably a lot of people in the audience who thought that that was Two-Face at first. But once he started making reference to, like, clowns, and of course that laugh, it became blatantly obvious, okay, this is the Joker. We're gonna see the Joker in, like, the next movie or whatever. Or maybe that Arkham series that's coming out. Because at this point in film history, movies are not movies anymore. They're backdoor pilots for TV shows, and they're always the first installment of a franchise. Sometimes there's sequels to the TV shows. I mean, freaking look at Multiverse of Madness. So overall, is The Batman the best Batman movie ever? I'd say so. It's personally my favorite Batman movie. I really enjoyed this movie. There was a lot of cool stuff that I actually kind of didn't mention, like the action. The action's also really good in this movie. I in particularly really liked the shot where the Batmobile went through that fire, which was a practical stunt, by the way. They did not use any CG for that, so that's impressive. But yeah, overall, The Batman, so far the best movie I've seen in 2021 so far, 2022 so far, and probably my favorite Batman movie. Might be the best. I like it more than The Dark Knight. This is something that everything a Batman fan would want out of a movie outside of the Bat family, but you know what? This was still an incredibly fun, standalone Batman solo movie that wasn't confined to stay in any pre-established cinematic universe. So, I guess swapping out Ben Affleck for Robert Pattinson was the right decision. Anyway, guys, what did you guys think of The Batman? Please let me know in the comments below. And what's your favorite Batman movie? And if it's not this or the Lego Batman movie, then what are you doing with your life? What are you doing? And if your favorite Batman movie is the 60s movie, then what are you? 70? Anyway, guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of when future videos are uploaded. In terms for the Toon Talk vlogs, Turning Red actually comes out today. I'll definitely be watching that and doing a review on that. And hopefully the Marvel Marathon Madness will finally begin this month, or next month. We'll just wait and see. Yeah, I guess the Kids' Choice Awards are happening. Guess I gotta vote for that. But anyway, guys, see you later. Bye!